The word interpretation is defined in the dictionary as a stylistic representation of a creative work or dramatic role. I'm just putting that out because I recently read H.G. Wells' novel, The War of the Worlds. If you're unfamiliar with the story, it's about an alien invasion that takes place end of the 19th century in London. And near the climax of the book, there's this like great big hulking alien machine that crosses the Thames River and into London, and there's all the buildings and mechanics of a modern society surrounding it in the distance. And that's what I tried to capture here in this piece. The definition of the imagination is the ability to produce and stimulate novel objects, peoples, and ideas in the mind without immediate input of the senses, which I think is really interesting. Only for the fact that we interpret other works of art usually with our senses, or we think about them with our senses, like what do they look like, what would an atmosphere, what sort of, if we were to be inside of a picture or inside of a piece of artwork, what would it feel like? What would it taste and smell and look like? I don't know, at least that's how I think about it. Interpretation is also partially defined as somewhat of a decoding of language. And I think that is really interesting as well, not only for the fact that language can be perceived on multiple levels. It can be heard, but it can also be seen in written form. And those things are two very different things. The written language and the spoken language are very abstracted from each other. But in the case of this piece of art, I just want to give you this thing to think about, which is, let's say you have a friend who's a writer, and he's been writing ever since you've known him. You know, creative writing, nonfiction, poetry, writing the manual to your dishwasher, whatever. But one day he wants to start making metal sculptures. What would those look like? And would the way he writes influence the way that he puts these pieces of metal together? And then would doing those sculptures then like change the way that he writes? I don't know. I think about stuff like that, and I think people who explore these other avenues of creative things that aren't necessarily the ones that they're so much aligned with or well known for, these sort of like, I guess, auxiliary activities that they do, I find those almost more interesting than the thing they're known for. Anyway, but towards the end of the novel, the narrator talks about a pamphlet. And I won't give away any spoilers, hopefully, if you haven't read it. The narrator talks about a pamphlet that's being published about, like, what happens during the invasion and the ultimate what happens to both humanity and the aliens. But it seems like this pamphlet is some sort of like a first-hand account, and, you know, artist representations, and, you know, scientific diagrams and scientific, you know, papers that are put together, published. And I like to think of this piece as being a part of that pamphlet. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this one this week. If If you haven't subscribed already, please do that. And also, comment. If you have any questions, we're open to answering questions. We're going to be trying some new things here on the channel here soon, so expect some more interesting things, and we hope that you guys, whoever's watching, sticks around and be prepared for some more fun, cool stuff. Okay, thanks. Bye.